Two douchebags on a couch. One's an asshole, one's a grouch. And relentless, all their mouths. Jim and Eddie. Talk shit. Jim and Eddie. Talk shit. Jim and Eddie. Talk shit. Jim and Eddie.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Talkin Shit with Jim and Eddie. Yep, that was childish Jim Jeffries there, right there for you, farting right into the microphone.
Hello, everyone.
It's radio circa 1983. And we're here on the couch in the rape cottage with our favorite sidekick, Leech.
The Hour of Power.
The Hour of Power.
The
Jason
Pontiff.
Hour of Power, how are you?
Hi, how you doing?
I put out a Twitter the other day to find out what Jason's nicknames have been on the show, and I got a million responses, and I forgot some of them. Dupree?
Dupree, yep, that was one for a while.
Dupree.
Lovey Dupree.
Pontiff, which is what you named yourself.
I like the Pontiff.
Yeah, that's when we start our cult.
Yeah, you want to be a pontiff.
Yes.
You're the Hour of Power. That's what you give women sexually.
Craig.
Craig, because Jim has a fat friend named Craig that
In
you
England, remind me of.
remind him of. And
He actually, when we first started hanging out, he kept calling me Craig accidentally. It was like driving me nuts.
Okay, wait. What are some of your other nicknames? The Closer, because of your ability with women, how you close the deal really well. And is there any others?
No, I can't think of any.
Oh, there's one other.
Fat cunt. Yes, fat cunt.
Fat
Eddie's
cunt's not a
favorite.
nickname.
Who calls
though.
you that?
Actually, Jim is the only one that's called me fat cunt. No, you've called me fat cunt.
I've never.
You
called-
said too. I think one time you said, "I'm going to stab you in the face, you fat cunt."
But I only say that to
Someone on
motivate.
email called you a fat cunt, said, I hope you die in a sea of AIDS, you
Yeah.
fat cunt. So
Yeah.
that's another person.
Have you gotten any weird emails lately, or?
Actually, when we went up to the Improv for your the Australia
Charity gig we did, yeah.
A guy came up and said, "No offense, but I'd expect you to be a fat cunt when I met you." He actually said that.
So he's saying you're not.
I'm not a fat cunt. No, well, because I've lost a lot of the weight from the beginning.
Yeah, I don't know about that. We've got Lalit is in the room again. This is week 2 of Lalit, who is a clinical psychiatrist.
Therapist.
Therapist. What's the difference?
Psychiatrist has an MD. I have a master's degree.
Oh, so you can't give me drugs.
I can't.
Yeah.
Legally, no.
Can you make my dog a service animal?
Yeah, I could buy a vest online. Actually, no.
No. He means can he service the dog?
Oh.
Just a bracket to hold its
No,
legs down.
listen to this. This is the thing. There's emotional support animals.
Yeah.
I could make Noosa, my dog, an emotional support animal so that she could fly on the plane and sit beside me.
So I
I've
could,
seen
like,
people who have these dogs, yes.
The way I found out about this, I read an article online that the airlines were cracking down because they were pissed off because it doesn't have to be a dog. And some people were bringing miniature horses and pigs.
Right.
Can you imagine if you're on a plane and somebody sits down with a pony next
Well,
to you?
I've flown with Jason, so I know. I know what you're talking about.
So, is there any way that you could declare me crazy and get Noosa?
Definitely.
And I can get a letter then. And
Yes.
Noosa can be an
and
emotional.
it's totally valid.
Fuck yeah. Noosa's flying everywhere with me from now on.
She wouldn't have to stretch the truth either.
She wouldn't have to stretch
Why?
the
Why?
truth. I hope you get on a fucking plane that crashes.
Would be sweet, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it really would. This podcast would get fucking
Oh.
billions of hits. Billions of
And
downloads.
he's the one we can lose.
Yeah. The show would still go
You know
on.
what I mean?
We can replace him easy.
He's not in the title or anything.
Yesterday, I was sitting next to him, and some homeless guy was sitting next to me, and at the coffee shop. And I say to Jason,
Don't say the girl's name.
I say to Jason, how's sex? Have you gotten? Why can't I?
No,
Okay. Well, I said to him, what? I still should say it.
because it's a horrible thing to say. Don't say a name, honestly.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I said to him, how's sex with her going? Like, are you getting sex yet? And he goes, it's really weird. He goes, the closer I get her to suicide, the closer I get her to having sex with me. And the homeless guy goes, and I thought I was a loser. And then he goes, that's serial killer words.
See, See, we talked about serial killers before in here, haven't we?
Yeah, we've gone over that. Lalit, is that disturbing that he would say that about a girl? It wasn't you.
Thank you. It kind of is. Yeah, I didn't know you had that in you, Jason.
How are you? How are you making her closer to suicide? What are you doing?
It was a joke. It was kind of like, Eddie, this is
Do you think that's funny?
Is this something that shouldn't be on the show?
No, this is
think it's
this is
funny
actually
to
Eddie's
joke about
method.
suicide,
He
or-
taught me this when we would go to clubs and stuff. He'd say, "This is what you do to a girl." And
You got to treat a girl badly.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That, so
I was
they'll-
joking. I was
like,
extrapolating it out
No,
into an extreme
it's
absurdity and
sad-
saying the closer I get her to killing herself, the closer I get her to
understand
having
what you're
sex with
saying.
me.
It's-
So
but-
it wasn't a literal kind of. It was more. I was actually I said something.
it is
funny
a
to
sad
Eddie
state of affairs that if you treat a girl badly, she does like you more. Isn't that true, Lily?
Not at all.
Shut up.
Are you wet?
Can't believe you
I think
fell
Jim
for
is.
that. I can't believe, I got the sexual energy. If you remember the last one, I've been walking around quite proud all week ever since that.
Because Jim thinks that she wants to marry him.
Old
We did-
sexual energy Jeffries.
Yeah, we did kill, Mary, fuck, and she chose Jim to marry because she thought he had some sexual energy.
He likes to choke.
I do like to choke.
Yeah. Do girls like to be choked?
Not violently.
I can answer for myself.
Yeah.
I would say yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Tell me why.
It heightens the orgasm.
It
Yeah.
does really.
Yeah, when you cut off oxygen.
So it's like that autoerotic asphyxiation.
It's like
when
Yes.
guys, when guys like
How
Jason
Dave
hang
Carradine
themselves.
died.
Yeah, but see, Jason does it, but he does it with guitar strings.
This is the weird
the
thing
mark.
is, right, so Jason's always thought that I was a freak for doing this. And now that he knows that my little plan works, he's looking at me like, so Jim really, because I know what I'm doing, Jason.
No, but this is bad because Jason's a bit mongoloidish, and he's.
Oh no, I don't have your freakish human strength.
Yeah, you have that burnout strength.
Yeah,
Like-
you don't.
like
You
it's
just
not like
choke
what-
them. You don't crack their necks.
like a gorilla would do. Jason has that strength that like we call it burnout strength. It's like the guy in high school. He doesn't lift weights. He doesn't play sports, but he works like on fucking carburetors and shit. And can like if there's a bolt that's stuck in your house, he's the guy that can come in and pull the wrench. And you're like, where is he getting this fucking? You like hand him a peanut butter jar and he can fucking open it without even thinking about it because he's got that mongoloid kind of like retard
I-
gorilla strength.
There was a deaf kid at my school named Troy, and I don't mind saying his name because I'm not going to hear it. But Troy, it was Troy and Martin were the two deaf guys at our school, and the kid Troy, he was deaf and he was also a bit of an asshole.
Yeah, they usually are.
Martin was a lovely guy, right? But Troy had superhuman strength. Was a fucking giant of a man. Mm-hmm. And I think if I look back on my childhood, one of the nastiest things I ever did to another person is when Troy pissed us off once. He came to sit with us at lunch, and we all got up like the school bell had rang, but it hadn't.
That is really
That's really horrible.
that is really mean. I've got, and I'm not like, oh, I can top that, but I've done two horrible things. One was funny and it wasn't mean. I was doing a gig, one of my first gigs ever. I'd been doing it probably like 3 months, and it was probably like my 10th or some gig. And I was in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, working with. I was the opener. The middle act was a blind comic. And then there was a headliner, some shitty guy from like Cleveland or something that drove 2 hours to make like $100.
Sure.
And I was making like 25, and the middle's making like 50. And these guys, they were shit. They were like on the shitty circuit. Well, the middle act is blind, and he goes on stage, and his opening joke was, "Hey, it took us a long time to get here because I drove." Like that kind of.
That's all right.
And so I bombed pretty bad, but it was one of those gigs where everyone was going to bomb. The
Sure.
blind guy.
If you bombed.
Yeah, the blind guy gets up and really is bombing. And there's about 15 people in the crowd. And so back at that time, I was really funny opposed to like writing jokes. Like I was just naturally, like I didn't give a shit about the show or doing a good set. It was like, hey, let's have fucking fun.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the rules of comedy. So I wrangle the audience by going shh to everyone, just putting my finger to my lips and going shh. And then I start waving them all outside.
No, that's way more horrible than what I
wow.
did. I was a fucking schoolboy acting like a school bell rang, so I didn't have to hang out with an asshole guy who was so happened to be
He
deaf.
starved for a day. For
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So we used his weakness against him, but you ridiculed
Wait, well, let me
a
finish.
fellow employee.
But it wasn't just me because the 15 people, that were involved thought it was the funniest thing they'd ever done. They were tiptoeing out of the club, and it was one of those, like, it was in a bar, like, where all we had to do was open one door, and we're in the parking lot. We go to the parking lot, door closes, everyone starts laughing hysterically. Like,
I bet you that guy doesn't gig anymore ever again.
hold on. So then we all come back in, like 5 minutes later, he's still on stage doing his act. and he's having, you know how like they can still sense so much, so he's getting like a bad response and he's wondering what's going on, he's asking questions. So they sit back down and he's going like, he's doing bomb lines and going, you know, I don't know what's going on and why won't anyone respond and blah, blah, blah. And I think I tell him like somehow, or maybe the headliner said, we took everyone outside. And he starts laughing hysterically, like he thinks it's the funniest thing that's ever happened to him.
Sure, he laughed there, cried at home.
Yeah, it was...
It was pretty bad though.
Now, but if you wonder where all this cruelty comes from, that like I find it funny. I don't care.
It is funny. There's the whole thing about cruelty. It is funny. But it is cruel.
Here's where it comes from. My dad, when I was about 7 or 8 years old,
Was blind and used to work as a comedian.
we used to live on this street, Woodshire Drive in O'Hara Township, and there was a guy on our street. Like he seemed really old to me, but he was autistic or Down syndrome or something. His name was Barry Jordan.
He wouldn't be Down syndrome. They don't age.
No. I don't know how old he was, but
they just turn white like
he was-
chocolate
he
that's
was
been left in the sun.
Very large and very strong, and he used to wave his arms a lot and rub his hands together and go, "Hi Eddie, what do you think the weather's going to be like tomorrow?" He always wanted to know about the weather and how tall are you? How tall are you? And he would go back to back, back to back.
Wouldn't you love to be one of those people?
Sort of. It would make
Yeah.
life very
The
easy.
Yeah.
that would just be
Yeah. How's the weather?
They're not depressed.
Back to back.
you're concerned
Not at all.
about the weather and how tall people are. Your sexual drive's sort of a weird sort of grey area. You know, basically, people with Down syndrome have superhuman strength, and their fucking cocks are really big. And that, when it comes down to it, that's all any of us wants. That's,
I had a friend that worked in a
Wait,
home,
let me-
and he said they fuck like mad, actually.
All right, now that's wrong. But that's just your friend's fucking freaky fantasy.
Oh.
But this guy used to come down to our house. He would walk his dog, Tubby. And he used to go, Tubby, Tubby. And my dad used to tell Barry that he had super cereal. This is my dad. This is how cruel. And he would just bring down regular cereal out of the kitchen and feed Barry this cereal and tell him that it gave him superhuman strength, and then make him do shit like jump over fences that he would like fall over, and he would make him like chase kids around the neighborhood, and you'd have like scary like mongoloid Barry chasing you because my dad would go get him, and he had like this, and
These stories are horrible.
I know.
Why would you tell this? I don't know why you don't keep this.
I think I'm changing my diagnosis.
Why wouldn't you just keep this to yourself forever?
That was
We've
Cobra
got a-
Commander.
We've got a therapist on the show. I thought maybe I'd get it out there.
Oh my
God.
god!
Yeah.
These are things that I would never tell another living
Yeah,
person.
yeah. So that's where it came from with me. Jason's holding his head like it's the worst thing he's ever heard.
So is this bloke still alive,
I'm not sure.
or did your dad make him impale himself on a fence?
No, I'll check. I don't know if he's on book.
He's a netbook.
Yeah.
No, they have a social network for people with Down syndrome. It's called Big Round Facebook.
Was that so? What does that show you? Why I act like that to you, Jason?
That's pretty fucking twisted shit, dude. Your dad was basically
Torturing it.
torturing and
An
using him as a
autistic
weapon
kid.
against the neighborhood kids too.
Pretty
That's
sure
the
he
funny
was
part.
autistic.
Pretty sure he was autistic.
I
He
remember.
believed that breakfast cereal gave him superpowers.
I remember
Yeah, I
one
don't
time.
think that's autism.
One time I stole Tubby, and I ran away from him with Tubby. I was like, "Can I walk your dog?" And then
Why
I
would you do that?
I don't know, but he chased me down, and it was the most terrifying thing. I was like 7 years old, and this like 25-year-old fucking mongoloid is chasing me.
This brings us on to something interesting. The point that, do you remember when you were a kid? Like kids of today don't seem to have the same level of fear that we had. I don't think, and maybe this is me talking as an old person, But, you know, if someone said, oh, I know your dad, you would be terrified.
Oh yeah.
Right, but now kids just tell you to fuck off and they give you their finger. Right?
'Cause
But
nobody has
this
dads
might be
now.
me just being an old bloke. But I remember once sitting at the front of my house, because me and my brother were fucking geniuses, evidently, and we had water balloons and we were throwing them at cars that were going by. Not like up the road, not like away from our house, in front of our house. Right? So we throw this one water bomb at this guy's car. He slams on the brake and then he just opens the door, parks the car, gets out, walks up to the front door to tell mum and dad off. Terrifying. Never been more scared. And then just dragged us up. Like he physically grabbed my brother by the ear. You're not allowed to do that anymore, are you? You can't spank kids in
Not in
public.
America.
No.
You grab somebody else's kid, they'll kill you. Yeah. We used to do the same thing. We had crab apples, and we used to just sit and throw. Yummy. We used to take crab apples and hide behind trees, and as cars would come, we would just pelt the car as hard as we could with crab apples, like wanting to dent the car.
Yeah.
And we wanted them to stop and chase us. Like we loved to get chased, and we had like elaborate plans to get away from them. Like,
No, see, I didn't like the chase.
I loved the chase. And the deal was if you got caught, you were alone. You know, that was the whole thing. And my cousin Ted one time gets caught, and the second they catch him, he's like, I was with Eddie Ift, Johnny Ift, Chips. He named every single one of us so quickly.
And then the police were like, the ifs. Oh, yeah, the people who fucking pick on the Down syndrome bloke down the road. Yeah, we've dealt with them before. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like other times. I got caught door knocking once, which is just the classic, knocking and running away. You can do that on the way home from school. My brother once went door knocking, got dragged into an old lady's house. Like,
It's creepy.
like she opened the door as he was putting his hand through, and she grabbed his arm and dragged him in.
Jason, anything like this ever happened to you?
And don't say I got molested by a
Whoa,
babysitter. It
here-
wants to be fun. Keep it up,
Yeah,
Pete.
yeah, watch this. Watch this. Remember, he didn't have any friends. He just walked around the woods alone.
No, but remember he
No,
burnt.
I mean, that was like early
Remember
childhood
that
out in the
he
sticks,
he
but-
burnt down because this was never you burnt. You, what?
Yeah,
we were
this-
going to talk about this one time. What was a day in the life of Jason?
When I set the field on fire, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, you know,
So you get up in the morning, you have breakfast cereal, right?
Super cereal.
I had my super cereal.
You have super cereal. A guy down the street would give it to you.
What I
at
would
the
do
front
is,
of the house.
I'd get all my toys, like G.I. Joe's was the toy of the era, back then. And I would set up all the base, and then I would have an imaginary war between the guys. And then as things would...
Because there were no kids in your neighborhood. You lived...
Dude, like one of my friends, Rob, lived like a mile away up a hill through the mountains. And I mean, it was ridiculous up
So
there.
you lived in like Appalachia.
I lived in New Hampshire, and it was pretty woodsy.
Like, and your nearest neighbor was how close?
Well, we had one neighbor that was like probably a few hundred yards away, and that was like an old guy.
Did you have plumbing?
Yeah.
Running
It was
water?
like primarily it was summer cottages and stuff around a lake.
Right. So what would you do when the battle ended?
Oh, well, the losers would get torched.
The losers would get torched. So
Yeah.
other kids would go, pew, pew, bang, bang, you're dead. Rah. You would go, get me a lighter.
Yeah.
I'm burning this member of toys.
Yeah.
You would burn them.
And you've told me this once before on microphone. What happened once?
Well, I had that was when I was really young. And I had it was like some trucks, some cars, and I made a car wreck, and then like I lit one of the cars on fire, and then it caught the field on fire.
And then you burnt the entire woods down.
No, it was just a field, probably like maybe 100 square yards or so.
100 square yards you burnt down as a child. And when the cops came wondering what the fire was about, what did you tell them?
I said it was a high school kid with like a heavy metal T-shirt and long hair.
You basically-
I gave them what they wanted.
You
what they
basically
were looking
described
for.
the future you.
Yeah, but what you did was you gave them a Fonzie-esque person.
I gave them what they wanted to hear.
Did they fall for it?
Yeah,
Ah. And to this day, they're still looking
for that guy.
And he was wearing like a metal T-shirt.
But I
He
was
had
like
long hair, and he said something about "fuck the establishment."
Yeah,
for the Lake.
He said something,
For the Lake Winnipesaukee
Yeah.
arson.
and I was like 7. So
What lake was this that you lived on?
Lake Kentucket,
Lake Kentucket.
Yeah.
which is kind of spelled like Contacook, but like it's like these.
That's what they used to say about you after you did it. Jason Kentucket.
You grew up on you grew up on Lake Kentucket.
Well, yeah, it was one of the places I lived.
Oh yeah.
It's that's Indian for wank and take it.
All right. I think
No,
that's
so
the
you
show.
burnt down a field,
Yeah.
blamed it on a kid who would have been the Fonzie.
Well, I didn't want to
of his
get in
day.
trouble.
Okay, well, this is my opinion on Fonzie.
Yeah.
Right. My whole childhood, Fonzie was the coolest bloke on earth.
Still is.
No, if you think about Fonzie, he lived in Milwaukee,
Which
right?
Go ahead.
In suburbia of Milwaukee, in a studio apartment above a person's house, and hanged out with high school kids in a milk bar and used to go, "Hey," and tell all the young kids to come in the toilet with him because that's where he does his business. He was the least cool he would have been about 34.
He's a pedophile.
He wasn't even a pedophile. He was just a creepy old guy that lived in Milwaukee in a studio apartment shagging
And
17-year-olds.
I'm going to tell you one thing that's going to contest that and prove that wipes away all of that geekiness.
Right.
And that is that if you remember, Fonzie used to date sisters.
He did used to date sisters, and he wasn't a biker gang, but then he decided to give that biker gang away and hang out in a milk bar where he had his own booth.
But he was still banging sisters.
It was never implied. We never know if he fucked them. There was just a lot of clicking fingers and them all getting up.
But like, who goes out with sisters? Like, have you ever gone on a date where you went with two sisters?
I've had sex with two sisters, but not simultaneously. I've had sex with actually lots of two sisters in my day. But like at different times, there was one couple, and there's one couple of sisters that are still friends with me to this day. They still think I'm a good guy, and they both know about it. Actually, both the sets of sisters still think I'm all right. I'm Facebook friends with all these sisters.
Are they
Because
in
you're
your
famous.
So one of them was from before I was famous, and it's because I ooze sexuality.
Are these in your basement, Fritzl?
My basement Facebook.
No, I meant like these girls in your basement somewhere.
Yeah, but this is your house. I only rent a room. I'm like Fonzie.
I know. He's basically putting down Fonzie, and he is him.
I've given up drinking. I hang out at the milk bar. I live up in a little tiny room. I have a penchant for the young ladies. Yeah, I'm Fonzie.
And who would Jason?
And you
be?
get your pinball machine coming in.
I
Too,
got a
didn't he?
pinball.
Oh no, it was a jukebox that he always.
Are you
fixed.
gonna punch it to make it start?
It doesn't have a coin. There won't be a coin operation in my pinball machine, but I will just be hitting the button and going, "Hey!"
If you were Fonzie, who would Jason be?
You'd be Ralph Mouth. No, you'd be Ralph Mouth.
I'd be Ralph Mouth. He'd be Potsy.
You wouldn't even be Potsy. You'd be the one kid from that series when I was a mechanic in the school that couldn't learn how to put the engine together.
Now I'm pretty sure he could put an engine. You could put an engine together in a car, couldn't you?
Maybe. That's a lot. That's tough. That's
Yeah,
hard work.
It depends.
Remember how I said the other day that when you get him to do something, he can do it, but later on down the road, something will fuck up and you'll find out that whatever he does.
Well, it's like my chest of drawers is missing that piece.
No,
let
it's
me
not.
tell you about
That's
your
an
chest.
extra
Let me
piece.
tell you about your chest of drawers.
It's not
that
an
he-
extra piece.
Let
extra
me
piece.
tell you.
Why didn't they have extra pieces of
Let
all the
me
pieces?
tell you about your chest of drawers.
Right.
You guys built your chest of drawers. You used my toolbox. You put the chest of drawers together. Then you put the toolbox upstairs somewhere on the floor.
Sure.
Okay. I went to put the toolbox in the closet because it was just left on the floor.
Of course.
And not only did every tool fall out on the floor and fall through the stairs and onto the couch downstairs, but every nail, every screw, every washer, they were all out of bags, out of everything. It was like you opened fucking everything.
We didn't touch any washers or screws.
Well, however you closed the toolbox, it wasn't closed. So
I just think Eddie, you picked it up badly.
No, I think... No, the way you closed it, you didn't close it
I didn't
properly.
close it.
Of course you didn't, because you've never closed anything in your entire fucking life.
Jeez, Eddie, that's a bit mean of us.
Well, if you had to fucking pick washers out of a couch.
I would have picked up the toolbox properly. I wouldn't have just flung it over my shoulder with gay abandon.
After hearing about
Gay abandon. What? After hearing about what?
Your father in the neighborhood guy.
Yeah,
I was
I
just
think-
like,
Yeah.
wow.
Anything bad that happens from you from now on
My
is just
dad-
karma.
I think my dad bought him a cape.
Yeah. I see. Every time I look at pictures of your dad, he doesn't look like a funny guy, but I have a newfound respect for him. Like I thought he was.
If you ask my dad about this, he'll deny it. He'll be like, "Oh, I just had fun with the kid."
I'm worried because one day I'll have to meet your parents. I assume there'll be a time in Pittsburgh or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And it will be like when the gay lover introduces the gay lover, and I'll just be like, "Hello, how are you? I've heard about you and the Cape. Can I live in a studio above your house?
Yeah,
Have sex with 16-year-olds?"
I don't think.
Hey.
I think my dad would probably deny it if I confronted him.
What?
on this.
You're his son, or
Yeah. That's not a. When
are you a disappointment?
When I first started doing stand up, my dad owns a financial service company and does investments, and he's very serious man, and
Yeah, sure. He gave people breakfast cereal and said it was a fucking magic.
and he's very well respected.
Sounds like he's a really serious guy.
And
Bought a Downy, a cape.
when I started doing stand up, I have the same name as my dad, and I started doing stand up, and
Is he an Eddie Ift as well?
yeah, I'm the third.
The third? Have you got a brother called Eddie Ift? Oh, you got a grandfather?
Yeah, there's two. He named both.
The trees,
We're like
the trees are
Anyone
different
I
in
need
America
to.
than Australia, Jim.
We're like George Foreman and his kids.
Right. No,
There's eight of us.
Don't you find that weird? Would you call your kid Eddie?
No, I wouldn't do it, but he did it, and my grandfather, I guess, did it too. I'm the third, and
Are you the eldest boy?
I am. Yeah, I got a younger brother, and when I started doing stand up, they put my name in the paper, and people started calling my dad, going, "You're doing stand up comedy." And my dad would be like, "I don't know what you're talking
And
about."
people would be like, I always love that cape bit you used to do with the Down syndrome kid in the street.
I don't think he was downing. I think he was autistic.
What happened to Tubbs the dog?
I don't think autism
Tabby?
is super strong though.
Yeah, well, this one
No,
was.
autism is like
He
skillful.
might have been. No, you can't just put.
Depends.
Let's ask
He could have
Lily.
just been a super strong bloke naturally.
I love having Lily here because it's like
Yeah, I mean,
an
help us
expert.
out.
You're like our Dr. Drew,
Yeah.
but I don't want to have sex with you.
Wait, so tell us, is that a trait of Down syndrome to be super strong?
No, I don't believe it is.
What about autism?
No, I don't believe. I
What
think
about
that's more
Asperger's?
Of a PCP.
What gives Jason his superhuman strength?
Smoothies and coffee.
During the hidden episode that's probably never going to get revealed, Jason got punched in the face by Jim like 10 times and it didn't even phase him.
Yeah. No, he's trained in martial arts. I think that's what it is, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he
Men-
does the martial
mental
arts, the faggy one with like where he throws stars at people.
No, I do not.
He dresses like a pirate.
He's
I
a
always-
ninja.
I
You're
always-
a ninja.
I always find those ones where
I did
people-
have a ninja costume though when I was like
Oh, I bet you
12.
did.
Oh yeah, I ran around in the woods and that. I loved it.
This is one we want right here. I want Jason Halloween outfits from ages 5 to 15.
All right. I don't remember 5.
But give us a guess. Name the ones that you can remember.
Okay, like well, the traumatizing one was when I was 10. My mom dressed me as a girl.
Why?
I don't know why.
But it wasn't- that wasn't-
inspired for that.
That was in July.
Wait. Why was that traumatizing?
I mean, not really, but looking back, I'm kind of like, why did she do that to me?
Is there
Like,
any
why-
chance? Is there any chance you can get us a photo of that?
She might have one. I could try to dig one up.
Let me just mention on your photos. I don't want to change the subject, but about your photos. No offense, but if anyone gets onto your Facebook page where they get to be a friend of yours, not on a fan page, not on any of our shit, but your photos on Facebook
Creepy as fuck.
are the creepiest fucking photos I've
Why?
Everyone
Everything you've got a dog or you're like towering over a person. Everything looks
or
like
you're
you're
staring into the camera on a computer with like this weird face. Put it this way.
or you're
If-
running away from a crime.
If you do a school shooting, if you go in and kill a bunch of kids and they post your photo, they're going to have such a plethora of photos to choose from that every person goes, "Yep, looks like the kind of guy that could do it." Yep. I mean, why?
Well, I mean, I took a lot of the photos that were on there were like had my ex in them or whatever. So I just took all those,
Oh,
untagged all
the
those.
modeling shots.
Wait, no, there's a couple good shots.
No,
on,
there's
go on.
nothing.
Next Halloween outfit.
What's the picture that I love though? What's the one picture I always talk about?
I don't know, the one where I'm jumping sideways.
Yes, there's a picture of him
Yeah, I know
like
those.
kicking his legs sideways. We're gonna put that up. We're gonna put that on the
Next Halloween outfit.
page.
Oh man, it's hard to remember these. I never really was very good at the Halloween outfit thing.
No, but you must have been a
Oh, I
suit,
had
man.
when I was like 7. I had like, you remember those blow up head things? Like you would tie it to your head. It'd be like a big bat or a big ghost. And
No,
It was
I
a
don't.
blow up head that you put on top of your head
Yeah, you
to
remember?
make your
yeah.
head seem larger.
Were you doing drugs at that age?
No.
What was your favorite one then?
Your
You
mom
never
did.
dressed as a superhero or anything like that.
No, I usually, like, by the time I was 11, I was pretty much just a hellion at that point. I just ran around with other, just trouble.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't celebrate Halloween.
Or make exciting podcast?
Do you go out now? Do you go out now for Halloween?
Yeah, sometimes.
Do you dress up?
We did like the apocalypse costumes 2 years ago.
Right, this
Yeah.
is good.
How do
yeah.
you dress like the apocalypse?
Well, I went over to my friend Rich's house. He's a.
If I wanted to dress like the apocalypse, I'd dress like you.
You'd wear a Jim Jeffries t-shirt.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
what people are going to be wearing in the apocalypse.
Yeah. I'd love to be found dead in one of my own t-shirts.
So I went over to my friend Rich's. He's a horror filmmaker guy, and he has all this just stuff in his house that's creepy and whatever. So we just made apocalypse costumes, gas
so
masks,
what were
trench
you?
coats. I just wore like a gas mask and a trench coat, and
God, I would love to hang out with you with the gas mask on.
it's yeah.
you know
kinda
you
weird.
know what I do every Halloween, because I've never really celebrated Halloween coming from Australia. I now when I go to parties in America, you know what I go as? Foreign guy who needs explaining. Girls love foreign guy. Foreign guy's all confused. He doesn't know what's meant to happen. They take him around. They tell him what's going on. Foreign guy gets a lot of loving. If you're the only guy who's not in an outfit doing this, what is all this about? Eddie.
I have only done. I never dress up. The one year though, I did the. Thought I was fucking hilarious, and I have a bit about this in my act where I dressed up as Superman and went in the wheelchair, and
Ouch.
went to a party in Hoboken, New Jersey. And everyone at the party thought it was the best fucking costume they'd ever seen. Like I'm dancing with all the girls in the wheelchair, and I had a thing around my neck with a tube cut, like tape around my neck with a little tube coming out. And
This hasn't been a good podcast for you to this week.
it's okay.
You've come out of this as quite the nasty individual. if it's not fucking picking on Down syndrome people,
It's crippled people.
or it's a crippled person, or a blind person who everyone should walk out of the room as, or a man who fell off a horse and couldn't breathe anymore. So let's dress up and mock him at a party in the hope that someone will blow us at the end of it.
We raised a lot of money for that charity last week, didn't we?
We did, but you showed up with water floaties on.
Well, okay. So everyone at the party thinks I'm funny. I'm in this fucking Superman outfit.
Right.
Myself, and I think it was my friend, was it John Yamokis, I think was with me. No, who the fuck was with me? We go to McDonald's afterwards, just shit-faced. And I've got a wheelchair. I've rented a wheelchair, so I've got to like take the wheelchair everywhere. Can't just throw it. So I've got a wheelchair. I've got my Superman costume on. I go to McDonald's. We go in. We're starving. I go to order food. No one at McDonald's knows who I am, so no one there was happy. In the joke, I say that like this dude really did come up and like started like kicked the truthfully kicked the wheelchair and was like, "What the fuck is your problem?" And I was like, and he's like, "Fuck you, fucking asshole." And he I think he punched me like in the shoulder, like pushed me or punched me kind of.
You're all right. You're the Man of Steel.
And I was like, "Do I get up and fight now?" Like as Superman. And in the joke, I said my friend got between us, but I said to the guy, "What are you doing?" And the guy's like, I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's like trying to fight me, and he's like trying to instigate a fight. And I go, "I'm really paralyzed." And the guy looks at me and goes, "No, you're not. No, you're not." And my friend looks at him and goes, "Yeah, he's paralyzed." And the guy's like, "Oh." And the guy just fucking walks out, and everybody else in McDonald's wants to cry now at this point.
Not only did he make fun of Christopher Reeves, but then he ruined an entire room full of meals for everyone.
And I've thought about this.
He's amazing.
I've thought about this to this day. There's probably a guy out there who wants to kill himself because he thinks he
may
punched
already
a
have.
paraplegic.
You probably pushed him there.
I'll tell you an awful story that I did once. Well, anyway, this okay. This is when I
Oh, because
first,
you're such an angel, and I'm a horrible person.
this is when I first started gigging in Australia. I was gigging in Perth, and I was driving back from a gig that was more sort of outside of Perth, an hour away or whatever. And I was driving back at about 1 a.m, and how do I say this nicely? An Aboriginal bloke comes up to my car.
This isn't going to be good.
No. But the thing is, I'm trying to explain. There is a cultural problem in Australia, is the same as people do in America. The Aboriginals do. There is inherently a drinking problem there in their culture. And this guy, whether he's an Aboriginal or not, was completely blind out of his skull, drunk.
So you're saying it had nothing to do with the fact that he's Aboriginal. He was just drunk.
Yeah, but that certain type of Aboriginal drunk. So we go and park at the lights, and he was in like a suit. This is what I remember. And I'm parked at the lights in Perth, no traffic, whatever. It's about 1 a.m. He's like a zombie, just walks up to my car, sees some stuff on the back seat, and he's like, I'll just get that. Like he wasn't thinking. I don't know what was wrong. So I locked the door, and then he goes around the other side. I lock the other door. Then, just like a zombie, I've got my window cracked open, and his arms start. I was terrified, right? So I grabbed him by the arm, and I accelerated through the red light.
Jesus, Jim.
Just terrified, didn't know what to do. Accelerated through the red light. He falls out the bloody window, rolls like 3 times, kaboom, 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 like that, right? And then I sort of brake my car, and then he stands up and like, you bloody bastard, I'll fucking kill you, like that, right? And I was like, oh, fuck, he's all right, right? So I drive about another 400 meters up the road. I'm all shaken up. I park my car. There's a 24-hour McDonald's in the center of the city, and I go into this McDonald's, and I get myself like a Big Mac, and I'm sitting there going, oh, it was fucking terrifying, right? Meet my Big Mac. About 5 minutes later, in walks in this drunken Aboriginal bloke, and he's there going, this fucking bastard, he tried to run me over, right?
That's a good impression.
This bastard! And he's yelling and fucking screaming, and then I'm like, what's wrong with this crazy bloke? And people dragged him out of the fucking McDonald's. I don't know what's wrong with him.
I'm driving home one night when I lived in Pittsburgh. I was gigging in Pittsburgh before I left.
There's no Aboriginals in Pittsburgh.
This gets good.
Never mind Aboriginal hookers.
So I'm driving back from my gig, and I was shit-faced. You know, I used to go out afterwards to this like...
You were driving drunk.
Yeah, I was driving wasted, I admit it. And
Eddie.
I'm driving home, and I stop at Wendy's, and I get like...
Wendy was this slut he was banging for a while.
I get like a double cheeseburger with like cheese and ketchup, really good. And I'm eating the fries and the cheese, and it's all on my lap spread out, and I'm eating everything as I'm driving. There's no one on the roads, but it's like freezing dead of winter. There's no one. I'm driving home. I'm the only car on the road. It's like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I'm driving, and I'm driving through a pretty dangerous area of Pittsburgh, a dodgy area that you know, just for a few blocks, it's a bad area. And just as I'm going through it, this woman comes out into the middle of the road and starts...
You accelerate.
No, she starts flagging me down. And she's like, stop, stop, stop. And I don't know what's going on. I'm thinking like emergency. I don't know what the fuck. But in my head, my life was so boring at this point. I was living in Pittsburgh. I was living at my parents'. And I'm thinking... there's a fire somewhere, or, you know, a child I have to save, and this woman's flagging me down, and I'm going to get out of the car, and I'm going to rush to the safety. I'm going to be on the front of the newspaper, like, you
Noble
know,
pick.
if saves child, you know, that kind of thing. So I stop, and I go, what's wrong? And I just roll the window down a little bit, because she looks a little, you know, shady. And once I roll down the window, she looks very shady. And she goes, just it's really cold. It's really cold. Let me in. Let me in. And I'm like, all of a sudden I go, no. She goes, come on. I'll blow you. And then I go, whoa. But I'm like, she looked like the biggest crackhead ever. So I'm like, nah. And she goes, come on, I'll do it for cheap. And I'm like, oh, this is a hooker, but just a very aggressive one that flags down cars.
Right.
So just as I realize hooker flagged me down, not going to be on the cover of the paper for saving baby, I'm about to drive away, and I look, she's putting her arm through the window, like your guy did, to unlock the door to let herself in. Well, at this point, I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. So I hit the gas and put the window up at the same time, pulling her and dragging her.
Right.
What?
She falls down. I hear like thunk, 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 and I think
Killed a hooker.
I just killed a hooker. And I'm drunk, and I've got Wendy's on my lap.
Well, that's always damning evidence.
Yeah, and I go like another 100 yards, stop the car, and I'm like, I'm going to prison. I just killed a hooker. Like, and no one's gonna believe me when I say that she tried to break into my car and I drove away. You know, they're all gonna go, "Oh, you were fucking cruising hookers.
You didn't want to pay."
Yeah, and you got the blowjob, and it wasn't any good, so you threw her out and killed a hooker. So I'm like, fuck, what do I do? I'm in this dilemma. What the fuck do I do?
You drive away at that point.
In reverse.
And I'm like, I'm going to be in the paper, but not for what I wanted to be. I turn around, I'm got my head in my hands, like, oh my God, like, I've got to get out and help. Like, she might not be dead. Like, what the fuck? I look in the mirror. She gets up and dusts herself off and gives me the finger.
She probably had that happen 4 times that night.
Yeah.
I honk the horn, wave, and drive away.
She might have had internal bleeding. She might have walked off to die.
Yeah,
about 10
or
minutes
died
later.
of hypothermia.
So wait,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
now this is evidence.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like,
Yeah, yeah.
everybody that's been on the show,
Ernie,
like,
we're gonna delete this.
Yeah, like-
There's a good chance that woman's dead now.
confessing to crimes with
I once.
Jim Jeffries.
This is out of the
IDF.
statute of limitations, isn't it?
I once.
7 years.
There's no statute of limitations on murder.
No.
But that's not murder. That's manslaughter.
Manslaughter's probably got none either.
Is there a statute of limitations?
She's a
Yeah,
she's
I mean,
a
she's not a
psychologist.
lawyer,
She's not a
too.
fucking
You know what?
lawyer.
I just know that.
It's like you've got
if
one
you told
smart
me
person in the
you did
house.
that, then I wouldn't be able to report it.
But
Like,
watch
if you
this.
Really killed
Watch
him.
me turn this around on Jim. I think the Aboriginal guy died the next day.
No, he walked 500 meters, my guy. The only thing that would have killed him was McDonald's. No,
I didn't drive over her, by the way. She just fell to the side of the car.
Yeah, so did my one.
Yeah, because they can't go under.
No, they could.
Not really.
There's a guy in Britain who used to be out of the boy band E17. Does anyone remember E17?
No. Did that make
All
it to the
right,
States?
all right, everything's gonna be all right.
No.
Don't know that.
No.
I'm gonna go through all their songs now.
No, don't do that.
Anyway.
Wait. I want to. Before you go, Jason, have
He
you
ran
ever,
over himself while he was driving.
have you ever almost killed
How
somebody?
does that happen?
I drove over my friend Sean once by mistake.
How did I know we were going to?
Was it just his foot, or you actually heard him?
No, I drove up his leg, actually. He's kind of like really indestructible guy.
He's got
amazing.
the burnout strength.
Yeah, he's retarded strong. It's unreal. We're at the Burger King. When I pulled in and parked,
Yours was at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Mine was at Wendy's. His is at Burger King.
Okay, yeah.
What does that tell you, people?
If you go to Taco Bell, the person actually dies.
And if I can I add my story real quick before you get into yours? I was hit by a Domino's pizza car driver when I was 5, and my legs were broken.
Really?
Did they still make it there in a half hour? We get our free pizza, and they went,
Yeah.
I just ran over.
No.
Yeah, why has this pizza got so much hair on it? So one time
I ran over my friend Sean at the Burger King parking lot. He had attacked me through the driver's window.
Hang on, this is just my story, but without the Aboriginal.
But I mean, it was a friend thing, you know. Like we used to play this game, Whistle or Lose It, You
Sounds
ever
like a
play?
great game.
Which is where basically you run up and you grab somebody by their nipple and you go whistle or lose it. And like when someone's pinching your nipple, it's really hard to whistle. To like, you're like, you can't do it. And
It's a good game.
so like, they don't let go
Should we
until
play
you're
it with
actually.
them right now.
That's why I can play guitar.
Let's see if.
No. We don't have to do that.
No.
No,
Whistle or lose it.
don't
Whistle or
hurt the
lose it.
nipples.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
the
so
left
right
one's
now-
already sore.
Right now, I've got the left. Whistle.
This is so
Whistle
bad.
or
All
lose
right.
it. Now I've got the other one.
All right, stop.
Whistle or lose. Wait, you didn't whistle.
I can't hear you. I can't hear
Stop.
you whistling. I
I
can't
think
hear
he's
it.
getting an erection.
I'm gonna do something mean.
Oh, he just started to get his superhuman strength.
Yeah.
He almost turned into
It
the
turns
Hulk.
out though, it's not hard to whistle at all.
No, I can ignore it a little bit. Like
It's the dumbest game ever.
No, it takes practice to be able to whistle while someone's pinching your
I
nipple
didn't
really
shit
hard.
myself. I just checked.
So, anyways, he attacked me through the window, and I stepped on the gas to back out of the spot, but I'd forgotten that my wheels turned all the way to the right, and I just ran up his leg and like hit him with the fender and launched him across the parking lot. And
I feel like I could ask you anything, and you would have like a story. Like if I said to you, "Have you ever fallen off a roof?"
yes,
Where?
the same guy I actually used to do construction with him.
Really?
Yeah,
Have you ever had a concussion?
yeah,
For what?
wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Have you ever almost drowned?
I've actually gone unconscious because my cousins drowned me in the pool in the backyard.
Have you had sex with a woman in the last month?
Actually,
Yeah, he
yeah,
has.
I
he
have.
has.
Yes, thank you.
Wait. Let's get to more of this. Did you ever build an igloo?
Not one that stood up.
But did you try?
I tried.
How did you try?
Did you ever run away from home?
Well, you take a bucket and you pack it with snow and water and you
No.
let it freeze and
Wait, I
you
wanna
try to
just-
create all the bricks and then you
just
try
keep
to build
asking
an igloo.
Just keep asking random questions. See if he did these things.
Why did you try to build an igloo?
Why not?
Because you have to do it bucket by bucket. That would take forever.
I lived in the woods
and it's obvious.
New Hampshire. What
it's
else were we going to
obvious
do?
that it wouldn't work because
Why?
it would melt because you're not in a snowy environment.
No, when I lived in New Hampshire, that's where I was living. It was freaking cold there, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty cold
It'd
there.
be like 20 below zero
The coldest place in America, Mount Washington.
in New Hampshire. Yeah.
Top of Mount
It's
Washington.
cold up there, Jim.
Wait. Have you ever been to the top of Mount Washington?
Yes.
And how did you get up there?
Well, mostly it's like a drive. It's not really a
you
hiking
didn't hike
mountain.
it?
No, it's not a
Okay.
hiking mountain, really.
Okay. Have you ever built a fort?
Oh, yeah.
And did
Several forts.
Yeah, I've built many
You,
forts.
and did you
as
ever
well.
did you ever blow it up?
Yeah, of course you did.
No, I never blew up.
Have you ever blown anything up?
Yeah.
With what?
Well, my friend's older brother, when I was young, worked at a fireworks company.
And what'd you get?
Everything.
Like what's everything?
All the way up to quarter stick of dynamite.
Quarter stick of dynamite.
Yeah.
And what would you do with that quarter stick of dynamite?
Blow shit up.
Blow shit up.
What'd you blow up? What's the
All
word?
kinds of shit. Mailboxes, toys, car. No, we didn't blow up a car, but
Have you
you
ever,
know.
have you ever stolen a car?
no.
Really?
No.
Have you ever committed a crime?
Yeah.
What?
Petty theft. I don't know. Shoplifting stuff when I was young. I used to
Taking
run
drugs every day.
with- It's not a crime. I have a card.
I can tell you 10 crimes that he's done this week.
He did a couple crimes before the show.
No, those aren't crimes.
Oh, because you're legally.
I'm legal. Yeah.
Oh, you can legally take marijuana. Because what's your ailment?
Oh, well, I'm depressed.
Uh-huh.
I have chronic pain.
Okay, where's your chronic pain?
I ruptured my L5S1 disc.
Is that your bullshit disc?
No, it's no. I have a spinal injury. How does Joe Rogan do it? Like 4 hours in a row, like
Because
that?
he just talks.
I love Joe Rogan.
Why do you love Joe?
Because
Sexual energy.
Does he have sexual energy?
No, he does, but he's short. He floats.
Oh yeah, he showed
She's
me.
into that.
He showed me the flotation.
The one he has at his home.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool. But it's an isolation tank. It's like
Yeah.
completely dark
Sensory
inside,
deprivation.
and it's filled with like the saltiest water, so that you
1,000
float.
pounds of.
Yeah, there's salt all over his floor because of it, and there's no fucking way I could get in there. You can't hear anything, you can't
Yeah.
see anything, and you just float.
It's the being alone with your own thoughts.
Yeah, I'd go
I wanna do
fucking
it.
mental.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Jason. Jason's gonna
I'd do it for 5 minutes and see if I could do it, and then
I'd
maybe
go
longer.
fucking crazy.
It's pretty amazing. I think you'd be surprised.
I've
It's
smoked
also
pot and
really
I'm alone with my own
Joe
thoughts.
said he trips out when he's in
Yeah,
there. Like
a lot
you
of-
trip, like you just see stuff.
It was a little scary the first time just because it's like nothing you've ever experienced. Just not being able to see anything and feeling weightless. But after 10
How many
minutes,
times do you pee when you're in there?
I didn't pee.
Never once.
Nope.
In a 3 hour, you're in.
You were in there for 3 hours.
You're in warm water for 3 hours and you didn't pee.
You pee before.
Warm water makes me just want to go pee anyway. So.
Well, you have a
Luke
wedding
or
problem.
Duke right now is in that fucking
It's pretty
sensory
amazing.
deprivation right now.
Do you blow smoke into your dog's face?
No,
Have you ever gotten Duke high?
not intentionally.
I think that's Duke's problem. I think Duke is probably really
Sitting in
high
the same smoke in your room, isn't he?
and smell.
Jason, do you think you'll ever be married again?
At this stage in my life, I don't believe that I would ever get married again.
Do you think you'll ever have kids?
What if it was Lily?
No, I'm not. I don't think I want to get married.
Do you think you'll ever have kids?
Yeah, why not?
Do you think
Because most girls want to be married before that.
Yeah,
They're
but
still fashioned that way, most girls.
yeah, I know. I want to find someone a little bit more progressive minded if I ever do procreate like that.
God, you make me
Yeah, there's no other way to procreate. There's
Do
just
you
the one
think?
way.
Do you think that you should bring your spawn into this world? Do you think that's a good idea?
Do you think you'd
I
be...
do bring a few good things to the planet. you know?
Right. But do you think your children, the world would benefit from your children?
Do you think you'd be a good parent is what he's asking.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I have no idea if I would
So
be.
why not just fucking wing it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Machete's done a great job today. Let's thank Machete. He's probably the most underappreciated guy on the
Yeah.
show, and we never talk to him. We don't know anything about him. We never give Machete the
Give
microphone.
Machete a microphone.
Yeah,
We
Machete.
never talked to Machete. Why don't we
Here
do
we
that?
go.
Yeah, hello.
Machete's been our engineer for how long? You been with us, Machete?
I was here at the spawn of this brilliant podcast.
You have seen everything happen here.
Yeah.
You
I have.
did you know
You've
anything?
even heard all the edited out stuff.
Yeah, the good stuff, the juicy stuff.
Did you know anything about us before you started?
No, I heard Eddie Ift throwing around K-Rock.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't know anything about Jim.
Oh wow, Jim, does that hurt you?
No. I told you I'm not big in Mexican markets.
So, but Ernie, have we scared you, or are you just used to all
No,
this shit?
no, we're good.
We're good. That's
of-
totally like
out
when
of-
someone's been offended.
Out of all
No,
all the episodes, Ernie, what has been the episode or the incident that you have found most offensive or most humorous?
I like Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee was nuts.
Why? Because he got naked and grinded on me?
Fuck, man, big ball of fucking energy, dude. Dude was nuts. It was just.
Now let me describe how would you describe
My favorite.
Machete to our listeners? He would smash Jason in a fight.
Yeah, he's twice the size Jason. is.
Twice the size.
That's right.
And he looks a bit like Danny Trejo from Machete from the movie. Not like Danny Trejo's got he's a little more like haggard and scary look, but Machete.
Give me a couple years. I'll get haggard.
You look like you could fuck somebody up. Who do people say you look like?
Do
Do you get Felipe Esperanza at all?
Humpty Dumpty?
No, I mean, people don't really compare me to anybody, honestly. It's just,
You're an anomaly.
yeah. Well, I think Jason is.
I think that was one of the names. You're
the anomaly?
They came up somewhere
I
down.
don't know. How bad would Machete smash you in a fight?
I like having him on the team.
What
What
do you mean?
He's a big dude.
Yeah, but what do you mean on the
right.
team?
He's
Like
not
our
on-
team, our
no,
family.
yeah.
Like what?
Stop
Not
saying
your
it's a
enemy.
family. It's
What?
not
So
like a
a
family.
family.
so
It's
if
not
we
like a family. Stop.
so if we
like
had
a
a
family.
fight that we'd have him.
It'd be us against someone else. Because I wouldn't fight any of you
Do you think
guys.
I'd be of any use in the fight?
I know Eddie would be good.
Why would Eddie be good?
Because he can jump really high and, he's a
That's
move.
we don't fight like video games.
No, yeah, we do. If you want to, you can.
You don't hear him go
more fun though.
Harugan.
That's the best way to do it.
What? Just jump in a fight.
Do weird shit, yeah.
I'd run and get help.
See?
See, because he's the thinker in the group.
Yeah, I'm the thinker in the group. I'd run and get help.
Eddie
And
would
then-
rip his shirt off
And then I'd
charge the guy.
I'd get bored somewhere else. And I think Ernie would just hug him to death.
Yeah. Ernie looks like
I'll
he's
come
got
with
that
kindness.
tard strength where he could just fucking crush you.
Dude, yeah,
What?
he crossed
Okay,
me off a little.
as you're a foreign person of a certain persuasion
Jesus.
that lives
Actually,
in,
he's indigenous.
No, but he's-
You're foreign.
you're a foreign person of a certain persuasion that lives in LA.
Right.
You ever been in a gang?
No. No, I've never been in a gang. No,
You got
I have
me.
not.
You're a banger. What do they call him?
Yeah, a gangbanger
Or G.
Gangbanger.
Cholo?
Gangsta.
Cholo, yeah, that's another. That's
No, I've
means
never been
dirty.
in a gang before. Although I have friends who are in gangs and still are in gangs. And
Are they afraid of us? Do they know about our gang?
Are their podcasts as good as ours?
Are they the guys that tagged my car? My car got tagged not once but twice.
Really?
Yeah, and for a while.
But you don't know it was Mexicans.
And for a while.
Why did you just say that? Like, are they the guys who take my car? They could have been
Like, I
white
could get to
kids.
the bottom of
He
it.
said they were in a gang, and I.
There's white people in gangs, right? In LA, or is it
Yeah,
just?
not really. Jason, hold on. Our gang expert will chime in right now, and he will also tell us that we shouldn't talk about this, or we're going to get ourselves in trouble.
No, whatever. The white boys, and that was like the skinhead gang that was in Venice a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
And then there's like the suicidal tendencies guys. There was like a punk rock gang in the 80s.
Right. Which gang were you in?
I've never been in a gang.
But aren't the gangs all friends with you?
No.
Now, why are they?
said that
Why,
all,
sorry.
See, he lies because you've told me before.
I know a lot of guys from the neighborhood.
Yeah. What gangs are they in?
They're not in any gangs, Eddie.
Oh, this.
So
is
why
we
are
can
there
talk
shoes
about
hanging
this.
from our wires at the end of the road?
Probably because the monster's friend has a shop down there.
He sells drugs down there.
Probably.
Is that a sign that drugs are being?
That's what
sold?
I've heard. I don't know.
I heard they were the.
Everyone looks for me. They're like,
I heard that was the border
You're
of
from
each
here.
place. The border of that. That's where one gang started and the other one stopped. That's where
If
the
you're
shoes
if
hanging
you're
from the
out
wires.
there
I have no idea.
and you're listening to this right now and you know the correct answer of why somebody throws a pair of laced shoes over a wire, please write to us at jimandetti@yahoo.com.
Well, Tosh did that bit on his show where he had the kid that stole his grandmother's car.
I don't watch
Yeah, I
Tosh's
don't-
show
I don't
anymore
watch it,
since
yeah.
he got mad at me for arguing with him about the price of college. And he sent me a text like 5 pages long telling me that I was wrong that night.
Wow.
Yeah, we've had it. We're not. No, I still like Daniel, but we haven't hung out since then.
I've never met him.
He's a good guy. He's a funny guy too. But Ernie, so you don't know what the shoes are for?
I think it's just like a thing just to piss someone off.
No, I saw a
takes your
thing
shoes
about-
and throws them on and fucking.
Cribs and Bloods and stuff, they were meant to show the boundaries with their shoes hanging. 2 pairs of shoes means something, 1 pair of shoes. It's like these people don't know how to text.
I think.
Like,
you're-
why don't they just call each other and say, you got to this street to this street? Why this archaic system of throwing shoes over wires?
I think this.
You know, in the 80s, they put an injunction on the beach here. If you were affiliated with any of those groups and you carried a text, what are those, a pager or a cell phone, you could immediately get locked up.
Well, see, this is why.
make this
This
shit
is
up.
why I
No,
think.
there was an injunction on the beach.
I
for
think
that.
people in gangs are fucking thick as pig shit, and for this reason, what's with the tattoos? Why, if you were in a thing that's a gang that's got to do with crimes and everything, why would you get tattoos naming? It's so when you go into prison, they know exactly where to put you and stuff. But it's just, I don't know anyone who wants to commit a crime why they'd have tattoos. It makes you too recognizable.
It's not forward thinking if you're going to do a robbery or something.
No, but if
They
you're
have some-
if you're getting a thing calling you the 13ers or whatever you want to call yourself, right? You're actually putting your gang logo on. Then the mafia never did that, did they?
No.
So it's just
Well, the mafia had money. I don't know what these gangs are doing.
Gangs of money. They sell all the drugs.
not Ernie's mates.
Yeah,
You think
not my
Ernie be-
friends. They have fucking needles, like guitar strings, dipping them in ink. So I don't know what's all that about.
And that's the best way to end this with what's that all about?
All right, join us on our web pages.
This has been a fun episode. Check Jim out on his fan page or his website. You can find me on my website, my fan page. We're both on Twitter. You can email us at jimandetti@yahoo.com. Jason has a Twitter now, at Jason Auer, AUER. Leet will not give you any information on herself. We will post photos of her, I promise. You will get to see the beauty that is Lilit, not Lindsay. We will never post pictures of Lindsay or probably hear from her ever again. She's probably dead in a canal somewhere. But Machete, do you have a website or anything, Machete? You want people to find you?
We have don'ttellproductions.com is the name of my production company.
Yeah, and don't tell him to not work with us. Thank you to Luke the Albino for all the help he's done on the show.
Yeah.
He's really put our show back together. You guys have been great listeners for supporting. Thanks for all the really nice emails, you bunch of cunts. It's amazing. Our listeners, they every time it's like, hey, we love you, you fucking fat cunt, you faggot, I hope you die. They write the nicest stuff. And I think those have to be the Jim Jeffries fans, because my fans used to be so nice and polite. They were like, Eddie, we love you, you're the greatest.
Actually, it's Australian guys, I think, that are sending in all that like rough stuff.
Yeah, so
the British guys are all like, hey, you're the best, we love you.
Yeah, well, keep it up, guys. We appreciate the support and listening, even if you do call us fat cunts and dumb cunts and faggy cunts and whatever we are. But so thanks a lot. That's it.
Talkin' shit.